alive! Everybody! But we're also on tape. We are deeper down in the bells. Episode 103. Season 2, Episode 3. Kamloops Last Week. Christopher Foulds, Magic Mike, and Bill. 103, 3, anything?
Oh, it's 3. I think of Eric Carter, one of the greatest defensive backs in CFL history. Played for the Lions back in the 90s.
Nobody else thinks of that.
That was going to be my thing. Yeah, Leon Carter, for sure.
Yeah. Great show today. We have Bryce Herman, the Charisma King. He's here to talk about Ribfest.
Ribfest is coming up this weekend. 3 days of ribs and sunshine and music and kid zones and some beer. Riverside Park.
And it's a huge weekend for Kamloops, though. Hey, Mike?
It is really. They've combined these two events together, Ribfest and Hot Nite in the City. And both are signature amazing events. So the downtown core is just going to come alive. It buzzes. And Music in the Park is also in the mix as well.
That's right, yeah. Lots going on downtown.
It's Ron Popove is the lead dog, the long time, 23 years at the helm as the chairperson of the Hot Nite in the City. So he's going to join us right here and talk about all things Hot Nite as well. Thank you to you guys. Last week we raised $600 for the Kamloops This Week Christmas Cheer Fund at the Pickleball Challenge.
Nice. It was a lot, and people were really generous. It was good. Most people were putting in money saying, I'd like to pay for some lessons for Marty and Chris. and then the game, that's when you lost the game. And then when you came back the second and won it and tied the series up, it started to become a nail biter. And the third game, you got all the way to 10-10.
Yeah.
And then you had to win by 2 points.
So basically overtime.
Yeah, like does it get any better than that? And I know from being on the inside track that wasn't planned.
No, it wasn't.
That just happened, and just the pure emotion and raw energy coming from you guys. I think it was really great.
Donald Trump would say there were legions of fans there to watch us.
Legions, biggest crowd ever.
Yeah. They say it's never been more perfect game than that one.
More perfect game. Better.
It was a big league game.
Yeah.
A very big league game.
It wasn't a great crowd, but it was a good crowd in terms of donations, and it was a good starting point for us. Next year, we're going to turn it into a tournament. We knew people didn't want to come watch us play pickleball, but we just threw it together, and our sponsors came on board. They gave us prizes to give away. We had McDonald's there with chicken nuggets.
200 chicken nuggets.
Were so good.
They were amazing. Volkswagen pitched in. Gord's Appliance and Mattress Center. Without them, it couldn't have happened, so thanks to everybody who's involved with that. I have some news here that I just got off the phone with Norm Daly, switching topics here. Kamloops NorthPaws.
Baseball team just finished their season.
Just finished their season. It was not a good season, wins and losses. They were last in the league. So I called Norm Daly, he's part owner of the team, just to get his recap of the season. And it was a sophomore kind of slump for the team, I guess.
Yeah.
And also, you got to think, if you're a player coming in and you've been recruited by a manager, by a coach, and then he's all of a sudden gone before the start of the season. He took a job in the NCAA Division 1.
Illinois, I think, yeah.
You can't blame him for that.
Yeah.
He went on to the next level. And the new guy comes in, he didn't recruit any other players, so that's not going to be easy on the players. So maybe didn't mesh as well as they would have hoped. Tumultuous year for the team.
Sure.
More importantly, though, I asked him at the end about the ownership group, and I said, who is actually in the ownership group right now? And he said he couldn't comment on it, which is a little odd to not be able to say who's owning the team.
And because when they announced the team itself, they had 3 owners there, and they were talking about the team a few years ago, right?
Right, so he couldn't really elaborate on that. So I followed up with the question. I said, okay, whoever's involved, are there plans to sell the team? And he said, I can't comment on that either. And he added, it's a fluid situation, I can't comment on that. So I don't want to editorialize and make a big deal out of it. It could be just a ownership change in stakes. It could be another group that's coming in to keep the team here, or it could be something even more minor than that. But it's noteworthy to me that there was not a hard no.
Yep.
It was not, no, we're not selling the team. And I can't tell you who's in the ownership group. Alarm bells go off.
Yeah, sure.
Nothing to say on that.
No, just, well, you see, it was a terrible season record-wise. Then again, you got to remember the league, the West Coast League, is a collegiate league. It's a league for college players, primarily in the U.S. primarily, to keep their skills up during the summer. They don't practice at all. They play almost every single day, except for maybe one or 2 days when they travel. So it's basically they just play. And it's a league just to keep their skills sharp for the summer and give us really good ball to watch. So it's not really a matter of wins and losses. It's more about developing the talent and having a good thing going on. But it's also very expensive because they have to take a bus from here all the way down to Portland and beyond, up to Edmonton, sometimes all the Victoria and Nanaimo. It's not cheap.
No.
They need fans. And this year's attendance wasn't as great as last year's.
It wasn't. I will add, though, that Norm said he was really pleased with sponsors. He said
Good.
they had a good sponsorship year.
You need sponsors.
So we're not here to bury the NorthPaws.
No.
He sounded genuine. You know, there was a good. Our sponsors are great. They came on board. They would like to get more butts in the seats as well.
But it is interesting if you were to ask, you know, the Blazers, how's the ownership group going? They would say, well, here's the owners, everything's fine. Or if you talk about the Storm. And when the NorthPaws came onto the scene, it was a big news. Everyone covered it, and they introduced the 3 owners. I think 3 at the time.
Noble Creek, irrigation system. Michael had a good story. He talked to Dieter Duty. He talked to another farmer, part-time farmer, Justin Fellens. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, it's all tied in with this drought and the river levels and everything. So the Noble Creek irrigation system, it sounds like a boring kind of topic, but it's not really, because it supplies water. It's the system north of West Side, you know,
Yep.
just Provato Winery, Dieter Duty's Thistle Farms, a bunch of other places, Hay Farms, other farms out there. So the Noble Creek water system, irrigation system, is separate from the city water. These properties get city water for cooking and showering and drinking, but for irrigation, they rely on this Noble Creek irrigation system, which is pretty old and has a history going back half a decade probably recently of the city says, well, we have to either upgrade it or shut it down or transition because it's getting old. There's a lot of erosion. There's a lot of problems with it. It relies on intake from the North Thompson River.
Yeah.
And on Thursday, last week, 6 days ago, August 3rd, the river is at really extreme lows, and it couldn't take in any more water. And when that happens, the alarm goes off, and the city shuts it down, so the pipes and the pumps don't get wrecked. So anyway, Dieter Duty on the weekend was posting on social media, and I contacted him. He said the water stopped, and he wasn't told anything. They created a Facebook page of the users. They're quite pissed at the city, mainly because they say the communication has been lacking. All the long weekend, BC Day long weekend, 2 or 3 of them told me they hadn't been told by the city anything. All they know is that they went to turn on the irrigation system and nothing works. They understood what was happening. They got it, but there was no direction.
I think they weren't shocked, though.
No, they weren't shocked. They
by
knew
the
it was
kind
going to happen, but they're saying, well, what's the next plan here?
Yeah.
And if you go back just a little, in 2019, the city was saying, well, we have to either fix this or transition or whatever. And then just last year, the city said, well, okay, council said we're going to extend it to 2028, and in the meantime, work on a replacement for this thing. But then this year, just I think a couple months ago in a closed meeting, the city decided, nope, we got to shut it down this September. The erosion is too bad. The system's not going to last. And that worries the users, because if they shut the thing down in September, they say, well, how are we going to water our crops coming in the spring? We don't have enough time. And then, of course, Mother Nature stepped in and shut it down early. Yeah. So right now, Dieter Duty had people helping out. They're bringing big tanks out there. But he's wondering, well, I need to get water in those tanks to water my produce. And what did he say?
He said he could lose up to $150,000 worth of product.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's significant.
And Debbie Woodward, co-owner of Provato Winery, a great winery right in that area. They also have the Woodward Christmas Tree Farm, and her sons, her kids run a cider house there, I think. They're saying, well, they have grapes, they have Christmas trees. Where are they supposed to get the water from?
Yeah.
Now they're not. They understand there's problems with the irrigation system, and there's a really good website they created about the history of this thing, and they have a Facebook page, Noble Creek Irrigation System, which has a lot of good information for people to understand. They just they want communication from the city, and they want to know, well, before this is shut down, it's shut down now. What are we supposed to do to? And it's not just them. I think I read there's $6 million worth of food and agriculture that comes into Kamloops from that area.
Yeah.
So it's important. Food security is always a huge important thing. If those things all just go fallow, where do we get? We're losing.
The hayfields. That was interesting in Michael's story. Justin Fellin says he leases his land out to a cattle company who takes the yield of his hay. Mm-hmm. Usually yields 3 cuts a season.
3 cuts,
and they're going to get none.
Right.
No cuts this season.
So there's a domino effect to different sectors, and it does impact us because people who like to go to the farmers market, who like to shop local, people who want to eat to survive, to have a nice glass of wine. I mean, this stuff is impacted, and what happens then? Do we keep importing stuff from elsewhere? Food security is important. Local food is important. And employment is important. So I think it just needs to be. I think Dieter Duty's biggest gripe that I heard was that he understands there's a problem. He understands the solution is going to be very expensive for them and problem maybe for the taxpayers to help them out. But he's saying the city staff is saying, well, we have no direction from council yet what to do. And I think what he's saying is, well, the city staff should be going to council saying this is urgent. As Duty mentioned, city council has met in emergency meetings over stuff far, far less important than this. So surely they could have met and said, this is important. Let's have a quick meeting, because they don't meet again until the 15th of August. So they haven't met in a few weeks. Get together, have a meeting and say, this is an urgent situation. We need to do something. That hasn't happened to my knowledge, and that's irking them, and understandably so.
Kind of in the same vein, the watering restrictions, level 5 drought.
Yeah, and that's two different things, and some people conflate them online. Like some people with this issue, they're saying, well, the city can still water the playing fields, but we don't have water here. Well, it's two different systems.
Yeah.
So just because you're watering MacArthur Island doesn't mean that you're taking water from North Noble Creek, because it's two different systems. However, yeah, we're at drought level 5, which is the highest level of drought in the province's classification system. There's 6 levels, and this is the highest. This is the most severe, and we've never been at that before. So now we're at that. So because we kicked into that, as Greg Whiteman, the city's city staffer in charge of this, he had a press conference yesterday. He said, basically, this means we go from education to enforcement now.
Yeah.
Up until now, they're like, please, follow the water restrictions. Don't water more than you should. Don't wash your cars if you don't need to. Now they're going to be going around, the bylaws officers, and they're going to be checking, and they're going to be taking complaints. And what was once, a reminder is now going to be a fine. $100 for the first offense, $200 for repeat offenders.
And this is largely to do with the protecting fish population, salmon.
Yeah, because the water treatment center is on the South Thompson River, just east of Pioneer Park, and the amount of water that the city takes out of the river is really insignificant compared to the flow going down. So the water we use for drinking and stuff really wouldn't make a difference on the water coming through. There's a whole bunch of water in the river still. The most the treatment plant can process in a day is 160,000 cubic meters, which is, I think, 8.5 cubic meters per second. But the amount of water that goes through per second is so much greater. So we asked that question saying, will this really make a difference if we just didn't have the restrictions? No, but the idea is to keep or raise the river level downstream so that the salmon have deeper water,
because
cooler
the
water.
lower the water level, the higher the temperature. And that's
the salmon is very bad for the salmon. There'll be lots dead this year, just like they were in 21 when we had the heat dome. And also, you want to keep the water level higher for downstream communities that use the river for water: Sabinal, Tobiano, Ashcroft, all that stuff.
So Mike can't be going out to wash his massive LeSabre just for the hell of it these days.
No, but there's a weird caveat there. It says unless for safety reasons.
I saw that one.
So I think that what they meant is if you come back from a road trip and you got your windshields covered with bugs, you can wash it off for safety reasons. But I don't think washing the wheel wells is a safety reason.
That's gonna be a tough one to
And you can also stand out there and with your hose, the nozzle, and you can spray your trees all day long if you wanted. There's no restrictions on that, but it's just for irrigation, for timed sprinkler systems.
Did you have something to say on that one, Mike? No?
No, you just said hey and Mike, so I jumped on. But the water restrictions, that's I think it's going to be tough. What about those Hercules bombers? Didn't they retire some firefighting planes a few years ago? Maybe we could take those and bomb Dieter's field.
Oh yeah. No, I think Dieter's getting some help, and I think they're trying to.
That might damage the crops if you're hammering it with a massive.
Yeah. Or you probably, if you're in charge of it, you probably put retardant in there instead of water and wreck the crops. But I think they're working on Plan Bs. But what they do need is a permanent Plan B going forward, and it's going to be expensive, and who knows what's going to happen. I think. On the 15th of August, which is next week, I think there's going to be representatives from that community of users are going to be at City Hall with a message that they have some proposals they want to do. I think they want to extend it for a year if they can, and really work on a plan to get a self-sustaining water system out there possibly. So
good. Yeah, the restrictions, you touched on them already, most of them as far as the watering restrictions, but ban on outdoor watering and irrigation with the exception of the handheld spring-loaded
Yep.
nozzles. Irrigating via the use of sprinklers or automatic irrigation systems not permitted. Washing vehicles, boats, you can't do that except at
Safety.
commercial wash locations or at home if washing for safety purposes.
So John Keane gets back from his weekly trip to the daily trip to the shoe shop, and he comes back and he's got his greenhouse gas emissions going everywhere, and then he got a whole bunch of stuff on his window. Well, then he can wash it because it's safety reasons
Yeah.
on the lakes.
And you can't pressure wash for aesthetic purposes only.
You're not supposed to. No, and yeah, that's about it. So it's and if your lawn goes brown, it'll come back and be green. It does it all the time in Vancouver. It's not a big deal.
Luckily, last weekend, we didn't have to worry about that. Did we, Mike? Because us three, we were just so busy again.
The Three Musketeers again.
Yeah.
Which one for all for one, and yeah, we were trying to get our challenge up for the rib eating that we're going to be doing.
Right.
So I went out and got us each a tomahawk steak, and I cooked it up on my barbecue.
That's right. Yeah. Never
I
been to your
decided-
place before. That was interesting.
But I didn't want to cook them out on the barbecue. I wanted to go to Gord's Appliance and Mattress Center because they have a brand new KitchenAid oven right now. It's by induction on the top, so the stovetops don't heat up.
Yeah,
I was
very
just
safe.
It's safe if you have a little kid running around, right? Foulds not paying attention to his kids. He's had too many PBR. The kid's trying to, touch a
How does it
stovetop.
cook if it doesn't get hot?
It's magnetic induction system. That's as much as I
Explain
know.
that to me. How does that work?
That's as much as I know.
It heats up the pot through the magnetic induction because it shorts up coils, and then the pot gets hot, and it's supposed to be way faster for boiling water, and yeah, so
Very cool.
That's what I was doing. You guys were still down
And Mike's place in Valley View. That's
at,
right.
at Mike's place.
In the backyard where I tripped over the thing that almost broke my wrist, but I was
yeah,
okay
you
there.
gotta
Yes.
be careful. There's a field. But what I was really excited about was we went to McDonald's, and I got a latte that I love to get, and I also got this. I don't know if you can see that properly, but
What is that?
Oh,
It's little fries.
Fries.
Yeah,
Is that a fry
McDonald's
pencil?
pen.
Yeah, with the fries
and
on it.
with this, I wrote a poem.
You did.
Yeah, but I'm not going to read it to you right now. You can go and probably check it out on my Facebook page, but
It'll be a chat GTP, no question.
maybe. But I still use this McDonald's pen, so.
But while we were there in the backyard, Foldsy started whining again. And this time, it was about the lack of electric vehicles at VW.
Well, I was going to look into one, and I remember reading a while back that they had a backlog, and as you had a waiting list, and it was like, when can I get one of these VW electric vehicles?
You're supposed to be the editor of a newspaper.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
old news.
Yeah.
Old news. Because that was up until a couple months ago, the 6-month wait they had, or
Right.
more, to
Yeah.
get an electric VW. They have 8 in stock now.
8.
8. 400 kilometers per charge, up to 4 years of free charging with Electricity Canada, no luxury tax. You'll like that one. And up to $9,000 in government rebates available.
Wow.
Makes sense.
There you go.
And you can still have air conditioning in an electric car, because remember he was whining so much about being hot. So we actually went over to the Volkswagen lot and used one to cool us down.
And we had to go back to McDonald's for the summer drink day special because he was whining about being so hot again.
Passion fruit. Yes. Yeah.
$2 real fruit smoothies.
Good deal.
Great weekend again. Good to be with you guys again. Let's move on to the Battle of Hastings with Bryce Herman, brought to you by McDonald's.
Hi, welcome to McDonald's. What can I get for you today?
Oh, good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Thank goodness for this rain, eh?
Yeah.
It's a level 5 drought for Pete's sake.
Yeah.
Yes, I'd like to make an announcement, please. I love McDonald's flat out. I've had about 56,000 McDonald's coffees in my day, and I'd like to have 2 more, please.
Just mediums for you?
2 mediums, and one of them with 2 cream, a regular one, and the other one also with 2 cream, but a decaf.
Alrighty, 1 medium decaf for sure with 2 creams. Anything else for you?
I'm just looking forward to these coffees more than anything.
Oh yeah.
Bryce Herman joins us again. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
How do you become spokesperson of an event? And because you do it for many
You
events.
do it for the Y, you do it for the turtle race, you do it for Ribfest, and on and on and on. Do you got to go to school for that?
No,
No?
no. Clearly, that's the best thing is not to go to school. and then it leads into a spokesman's position.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I think, in Rotary, I do the public relations for Rotary, or what has now been redeemed to be called PI. So
PI.
So
PI.
it almost sounds like I'm a PI.
Pass
but-
interference?
Yeah,
What's
no,
PI?
No, public image.
Public image.
Public image.
Never
So
heard
that's
that before.
that's the new approach that
PR
Rotary has
is now
taken.
PI.
PR is now PI.
You're gonna hate that because you
boy,
hate
yeah.
all the changes.
And all the stakeholders are going to get involved.
It's a scandal. It's a
it
scandal. I'm going to let you know right now.
Okay.
No, so
Yeah,
anyways,
yeah.
out of that, I mean, I ended up, because I'm doing that, one thing led to another, very involved, obviously, in Ribfest. So it just kind of made sense that I would be the spokesperson for Ribfest going forward. So that's how that happened.
We'll get to Ribfest in a second, but you must feel very kind of intertwined with the city at this point because you've done so many of these types of things and you're always at these events.
Yeah, I've done a lot over the years. There's no doubt about it, whether it's been a Briar or whether it's been games, special events that we've hosted and done in the city. I've done a lot of them. And very much, I mean, I was born and raised here. So, Kamloops is near and dear to me. And I've always been a really strong believer that, I've enjoyed my livelihood out of this community, so I need to give back to community. So out of that, it really has spawned me getting involved in a lot of things. And the other thing that I think from a personal development point of view is I like to challenge myself a little bit. So, I think that we get a little stagnant if we don't. And if you don't put yourself out beyond your comfort level, then you really aren't really achieving a whole lot more. So, if it's something you do every day, it's just kind of second nature, you go ahead and you do it. But if you put yourself into a bit of an awkward spot where it's not something you do on a regular basis, I think it just helps us grow and develop. And as I get a little older and a little more spongy in the head, I think that it's really important that I stay lively.
That's a good
No,
point.
it's true. Yeah. For the head
Mike's
and the
got his
heart. and
glasses
everything.
on today.
Yeah. It's, these are my new glasses. I'm really excited about them, and they change the colors and also hide the bags underneath my eyes.
That's
Yeah,
because
put them back on. Put them back on.
Bryce, we've done so many events from Royal Affairs with the Hospital Gala to all sorts of stuff. You're really a staple in the events industry here in Kamloops. And I constantly tell people, we're doing a beer garden. You need to call Bryce.
Yeah.
But it's the Ribfest is just really. I remember the first one and the first idea, and I said, "I'm all in. Ribs? You kidding?
Yeah.
And I think we've created a model for the entertainment and what's going on, and it's. I'm so excited that it's here.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I'm thrilled that it's here. I mean, we had to have that bit of a break, obviously, during our little incident that took place. And
That shall not be named.
Yeah. So, we had to shut things down for a couple of years and weren't really able to do it. But I agree with you, Mike. I think it's been a great piece. In true Rotary form, everybody said, we're just going to lean in and we're going to make it happen. The conversation started with Mike. They started with everybody, and we just started putting pieces together. And, believe it or not, pulled it off and actually generated dollars for the community out of it. So
That's good PI.
yeah, that was good PI. You see, I
see,
knew you'd remember that PI thing.
And from the first one, 2012, right? There's about 40,000 people.
Right.
Now it's double. And now,
Correct.
if I'm not mistaken, it's become the largest Ribfest in Western Canada, correct?
It is.
There you go.
Yeah, it is. It's
That's
the
a
largest.
growth.
It's the largest Ribfest in Western Canada. It generates massive amounts of dollars for the community. This weekend will inject about $6 million into the Kamloops economy. So it really is a generator in many, many ways. The services that we utilize for Ribfest come out of the community.
Right.
So whether it's fencing, whether it's porta potties, whether it's sound equipment, whatever it may be, is generated, and there's dollars generated back into our community.
Shopping local.
Yeah.
And then giving local with
And
with
giving
the
local,
donations,
because
right, yeah.
everything that's generated again out of the proceeds stay here, and they traditionally go towards seniors programs and youth programs. So that's kind of our primary focus.
I was reading something of interest to me, festival license.
Yes.
And new kind of beer drinking rules, kind of.
Yeah. So what that is it's family festival licensing. So meaning that you can come in with your children and obviously the children can't drink, but you can, so you're able to walk around. So what we're doing is we're actually fencing the entire park. The primary area obviously being around where the ribbers traditionally are on that first grass piece off of the fire lane on the backside of Riverside Park, and then all the way around the band shell, right up to the main entrance, and all the way up through about 50 to 60% of the Heritage House parking lot is all going to be fenced. Up in the Heritage House parking lot, that's going to be Kamloops Insurance. Treat Street is going to be up there. So that's going to be the typical stuff like mini donuts, Lemon Heaven, Harvest by Nandy will be up there. So there's going to be some options with vegan and vegetarian food. And there'll be a small little food court up there. And then when you move back down into the main area, that's going to be all the display stuff, the ribbers. Music is going to be on the main stage. That's going to run from 11 in the morning right through with a hard stop at 9:30 at night, because we got to get everybody out of the park after that. So we've got lots of stuff that's going to be happening, but in general, it's free of charge. You don't have to go and buy the ribs. That's not what this is all about. It's a great way for Rotary to give back to community, and we are, without a doubt, probably the largest signature event in the community. There's no doubt about that. It's really gathered a lot of momentum.
So if I got my kids and they're underage and they want to run around and go to the kids area, the kids zone, and I want to have a nice beverage on a hot day, I don't no longer have to have someone watch them and go into a closed off area.
Yeah.
I can walk freely with my beer as long as I have my wristband that I
Your
show
wristband,
my ID.
but you're not going to be able to go into the family fun zone.
Right,
So
yes.
Yeah, the family fun zone is outside
That's
of the
outside of the-
licensed
yeah.
area. But if you wanted to go up and say, go and get shaved ice or
Yeah.
an ice cream cone or something like that,
listen to the
for your
music,
kids,
I could
or
just do
listen to the
that,
music,
yeah.
you're able to do all of those things. Or you can be standing in the lineup waiting for your ribs. You can be having a cool one.
like a mature approach to it.
Absolutely. And this has been done for a number of years back east. And there have been 2 or 3 here in BC that have been doing it. So we've been asking here locally if we could look at it and try and make that happen. So this is going to be our first shot at it.
Nice.
We know that people drink more responsibly when they have their loved ones with them.
Right.
There's no doubt about it.
Yep.
And I mean, I think about it. If we went to the bar and we're sitting around, there's more likelihood we're going to start doing some shots and we're
Yeah.
going to get a little more silly.
Unless
But if we had our kids
Yeah.
with us,
It's
we're probably going to go, maybe not.
That's what
Unless
I
they're
like about-
16, then they can drive us home.
Well, yeah, if they can drive us home, maybe. Yeah, that's different again.
So, one last note on that. Who do you go for approvals? Is it the provincial liquor license, or does the city also have to sign off on
the
it?
city has to sign off on it, as well as the local liquor inspector, which then is under the governance of Victoria. So
Okay.
everything is out of there,
Yep.
but a municipality has a fair amount of lean in on it
Right.
because the municipality has the final say.
Right.
It's very much like liquor licensing, which has happened now
You
as
need
well, right?
them before
If
you
you
get
don't get them, you're not getting to the
Right.
provincial. So municipal has to lean in. We've got the support of fire, the RCMP, health department, liquor. Everybody has leaned in. The city has leaned in. They've been supportive and said, you know what, we think this is the right way to go. And I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I mean,
cool to see.
I really think it's going to work really well for the event and for the citizens of Kamloops.
Anything else new or anything you wanted to touch on Ribfest wise?
I think that's probably the biggest thing. The other thing that we're really working very aggressively on is, of course, our zero waste.
Right.
So we came within a couple of percent of reaching that goal last year, and it was our first attempt at it. We were, so close to making that happen. So this year, we're pushing very hard to reach that zero waste, the first event in the city to ever hit zero waste. And I think we're going to get there this year.
What was the shortfall before?
Well, the shortfall was really some of the items that came in that were outside of our control. Any of the people that are vendors or anything within the park all have to go through a very rigid guideline of what we say. This is what it is. If you're bringing in any of these products, make sure that the disposable items are bamboo or something that can be, composted, that type of thing. Get rid of single-use plastics, that type of thing. But if somebody comes in from outside, they're going to get a bag check, but we're not going to take water bottles and things away from people. So at the end of the day, all we're asking to make sure that we can get to zero waste is those items that you're bringing in, don't leave them in the park, take them home with you.
That's like
Because-
camping. Bring in, bring
Yeah,
out. Right.
I mean, if you can haul it in full, you can sure as heck haul it out empty. It's a lot lighter.
Anything for Bryce, Mike?
Yeah, it's more of a comment as to some of the things that are going on. We've got the Bob Seger tribute on
Correct.
On Friday night,
Yeah.
Which he's fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah.
Eagle Eyes is on Saturday night,
Yeah.
which if you didn't see them last time, they're the best Eagles tribute band I've ever seen.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
And then Punch Drunk Cabaret, those are the headliners. But we've got non-stop local entertainment, which I really like because Bryce works really hard to make sure that everybody's got a chance to play on the stage. And last year, I don't know, are they coming back? Colin Williams and his team?
No, just half of them.
Just half of them. Okay, yeah. Here's a guy that I've known for years that's played guitar and sang, and he wanted an opportunity. Bryce gave him an opportunity, and they really did a great job. So this is really a community event, and it brings in a lot for Rotary to do their job, which is all about helping, which is fantastic. But the most important thing is the ribs.
And we really try and really transcend all the genres. So, you're going to hear anything on that stage from rockabilly to, folk to country. There's going to be some alternative rock. So there's going to be a little bit of everything. And I really try to make sure that we do that because it's not about saying, we're going to stay in this lane and we're not going to get out of it. It's about really saying we're here to celebrate musicians and just absolutely having an amazing time in our city park and really enjoying it.
Diversity.
Bryce, we have these things that are, you guys, we have these things called tweeners. They're acts that go in between the main acts. And I might be talking out of turn, but I'd like to make this happen for the Kamloops Last Week team, you guys, especially since you guys are such big winners from last week, is that you guys could actually sing together, do that, and I'll make that happen. And I think that'd be really great. Maybe we can take some donations for that.
You know what? I think that's a fantastic idea. If you can get these two Twitters to tweet it.
The whole thing it's a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to it.
So KamloopsRibfest.com has the entire musical lineup and all the other information, right?
Correct.
And just so people know, Ribfest goes Friday, Saturday, Sunday, August 11th, 12th, 13th.
Yep.
From
Come at us
11
this
to 9:30 every day.
Correct.
There you go.
Exact same hours. So come on out and join us.
Favorite ribs of all time? Do you have a favorite ribber?
You know what? My favorite ribber is the one that I've got in my mouth at the time. Mike and I always talk about that every year. We always get together and go, what do you think? And I'm going, well, I just had some from Boss Hogg or whatever. And I'm going, they were really great. And then I go and try somebody else and I go, yeah, but they were really great too.
Yeah.
And there's 6 of them. And the cool thing in the past is that if you like, this really sweet, lots of barbecue sauce, they have one there. If you like the dry rub, they have one there. So it's like six ribbers this year.
Yeah.
And they're all different.
Yeah.
Which is
Then
cool.
they are. And whoop, I'm losing stuff. It's all good. So you know that we don't edit anything.
That's bad PI.
That's bad PI? No, that's perfect PI.
That's good.
No, I was just going to say my neighbor, they go down as a family each night and they pick up ribs from 2 places.
Okay.
So then they take them home, they sit down and they have dinner, and then they talk about how they like them, and then they go down and they buy from 2 more ribbers the next night and a couple of ribbers the other night. Sometimes they stay in the park, sometimes they actually take it home.
Good sample size.
Yeah. So there's an idea for you.
Okay.
There you go.
Thanks very much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you. I'll just grab my stuff and move on.
We've got the brand new KitchenAid induction range on the floor here. This was just released. It's a 6.4 cubic capacity on the inside, and then you've got your 4 burners with the bridge element on top. So for those who don't know, induction, unlike electric and gas, it actually works on magnets, like a magnetic force. So as long as you have induction ready cookware, when you put it on here, the actual surface doesn't heat up, it heats up the cookware. So if you were to remove the cookware and touch this, it wouldn't really be very hot. So.
And you were saying that it goes fast.
Yes, so it heats up really, really fast and much faster. You can get to a boil much faster than electric or even gas. Like it's very, very quick.
Look at the camera, not up there, because I end up doing this. I always do that. So.
I'm a little short, fat, old guy.
I'll fix that.
That guy there?
23 years now as chair of Hot Nite in the city.
Yes, sir.
What does this event mean to you?
It's a hassle sometimes, like right now. But no, it's an enjoyable thing to do. And it keeps so many people downtown happy. Like last year, the RCMP reported we had about 35,000 people go through the event. that gives you a feeling of accomplishment.
No kidding.
You stand out in the street and you look down.
Yeah.
It feels good.
It's cool. It's like more than a third of the population, and I like the pictures we took from the past, where you go up on top of Plaza Hotel, and you take those pictures, and you see all the trees and all the people. It's a really cool thing. All the cars, very neat.
What's new this year?
We have 525 registered vehicles. We've shut off our registration because of the room. The truck part of the show this year is going to be fantastic. 5th and Victoria is full of vehicles. And Friday night, they will be doing a light show, and they will have a few cars in there too. Down in the car end, there's some really nice cars. There's a 65 AC Cobra coming, an original, up out of Vancouver.
Do you know about?
Sorry.
Do you know what that is, Mike? That car? Because I don't know much about vehicles. Do you?
You know what? What I love about Hot Nite in the city is that all the different vehicles are there. I always go down with my father-in-law, and I have to admit that I was distracted for a second there. Did you say a 65 Cobra?
Yeah, AC Cobra.
AC
The
Cobra.
actual real
Yeah.
AC 65 Cobra?
Original.
It's a real one.
Oh, see, now that's cool.
Not a reproduction. It's real.
Shelby Cobra made these cars. You'll recognize them. They've usually got 2 stripes going up, and they're convertibles, tailpipes down the side, and it was like that. That's the car that my wife said, yeah, I would ride in one of those.
Jim Morrison had one of those cars in 65,
and
66.
there's so many replicated cars that look like that. But yeah, so that's going to be cool.
It is a 427 4-speed car too.
Wow.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, nice. Are we going to be able to take it for a spin?
Well,
I actually had my car in the show once.
what is your car? You got that great big convertible. What is it?
It is one of the longest cars ever produced, and it's a 74 Buick LeSabre Lexus convertible.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Well,
great.
There you go. I'm excited for the show.
I mentioned the Cobra. We have a lot of what we call as tuners, your Volkswagens, your Hondas, your Hyundais. They will be down on First Avenue. Dearborn Ford is sponsoring 3rd Avenue, and it's all Fords.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
4th Avenue by the Plaza Hotel is all Volkswagens.
okay.
Oh,
Our sponsor,
Volkswagen
and that's
sponsors our
where
show.
KTW have its tent at 4th and Victoria, so we'll be next to our sponsor. That's really good.
Cool.
And then 4th Avenue North is the Roadman Car Club on Victoria Street. 3rd in that area, or the Farrell's Car Club. Vintage Car Club is down on 2nd.
So there are car shows across the province, I imagine, across the country. What makes ours unique and special?
We're the oldest one in the province.
Okay.
We are 29 years. The first event was put on by the Vintage Car Club in 1994 to accommodate Rocky Mountain Rail Tours,
Okay.
and then expanded from that.
There must be people there who have been coming the whole time. Then, do you see like this? Do you see the same faces every year? You know.
There are repeat customers, yes.
Yeah.
One of them would be Brenda Sawada.
Okay. Brenda Sawada. Is she in insurance?
Yep.
She works in insurance. She did my insurance.
Really?
And Chris, another one would be Chris Gove, Angel Baumeister.
525 cars. What's the oldest car people will see if they go downtown? What year?
Wow.
1932?
No, older.
Older.
I think we have a 27
Yeah.
Wow.
Like a Model T or something like that?
Model T.
Beautiful. Wow.
Do you have a favorite memory of all your years working? Is there something that stands out for you?
Truthfully, it's the sense, like I said earlier, it feels good to stand there and see what we've accomplished. And I'm only as good as the people around me.
Yeah.
My volunteers, they're the ones that make the show work. Up to, yeah, I'm the boss, but the day of the event, I become secondary. Hey, coffee boy, we need coffee. And that starts at 4 in the morning Saturday.
Right.
Yeah.
There's also lots of booths will be down there. There's food stands. There's music at 4th and Victoria, right? Bands are playing, and there's lots of people to mingle. You run into people you know, and I'm sure the stores will be opening and have a whole bunch of sales as well. So it's a big day for downtown Kamloops, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question, Ron. Do you have the industrial, like big logging trucks and crane trucks and stuff again this year?
Yes, we do, and they will be on 5th and Vic and between 5th and 6th on Victoria Street.
Awesome. I also like seeing those because you get up close. Some of those hooks of some of those cranes are like huge. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and the cool thing is you got a 1927 Model T, and then a few blocks away you have the newest electric car possible. So you're seeing the whole breadth of the automobile industry from the beginning to now, right?
Friday afternoon, 1 o'clock or 1:30, we will open up registration. 3 o'clock, we start a poker run around the city, and it encompasses, I'm not sure how many, but a lot of the senior homes. And people drive through and stop, and you get their card punched. And then we come back at 7 o'clock. Dubs Customs is doing their 2nd annual drag race, pedal car drag racing. Our 2 MLAs, our MP, and we also have the Inspector Pellet. So we have Caputo, Millibar, Stone, and Inspector Pellet drag racing Friday night.
Oh, nice.
That's great.
Nice.
What time is that at? 7?
Starts at 7.
All right.
I'm going to brag a little bit. Last year we had the first pedal races. We had Constables drag racing. And this is good for the city of Kamloops. That video of them racing now is being shown at Depot
Oh, in Regina.
in Regina on how the constables should interact with the community.
Oh, very good idea.
And Friday night,
Yeah.
remote cars,
Yeah, the RC club of
they're-
the remote control cars. They're
but
going to
they're
be
having a mini show and shine
really.
Oh,
Friday night
look at that.
That's cool.
in front of the TNRD building.
Okay. Yeah.
And then at 9:30 or thereabouts, all the transports and a few cars will be lighting up for a light show.
The light show at night. Very cool.
I want to thank the City of Kamloops, our sponsors, and most importantly, my volunteers that make this event possible.
Thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks for coming.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Volkswagen.
Mike, let's start with you. Today's show, any thoughts?
Today's show was a fun show because both our guests, Bryce and Ron, have been doing so much for our city, and I've been involved with both of those events. So it's kind of fun to see them grow to where they are, and I think it was kind of fun. We should have had them on together though, and tried to get them to battle something. I think that would have been fun too.
This weekend is like an all-time Kamloops staple weekend. Music in the park, Ribfest, Hot Nite in the city. It's usually nice and supposed to be better temperatures.
Yeah, yesterday the forecast was really, really hot, like 35 by Sunday, 33 on Saturday. Now it's been revised, and I think it's better because it's going to be 28 if the forecast holds. So it's going to be, 28, 28, and 28 all weekend, which is perfect.
And I know you can't wait to get down to check out some cars. Which car are you looking forward to seeing the most at Hot Nite?
Which car?
Yeah.
Oh, probably the Shelby Cobra.
The Shelby
Yeah.
Cobra.
Shelby Cobra is going to be cool.
65, yeah.
But I love the hot rods because it's like pure creativity. I mentioned my father-in-law Carl Jansen. He's built a hot rod, several. He's a mechanic, and he has an old '58 Pontiac Strato Chief, and he put like disc brakes on the front, but not just normal disc brakes. He found some Jaguar disc brakes that he had to turn down the diameter to fit into the car. So like the creativity of these guys and what they do to make their cars and really make something that's high performance and fun. That's what I like to see.
You know how sometimes we talk about sports and you feel a little bit out of place? That's like me going down to Hot Nite in the city. I don't have a clue. I don't know anything about vehicles. Nothing. Neither do you. You know less than me.
We're setting up for Ribfest, and I usually try to sneak away to go through a walkthrough of Hot Nite. maybe we should go together and I'll point out a few things to you.
Yeah, you can learn something from Mike and his father-in-law.
It's
maybe.
not that I don't like vehicles. Like, it'd be nice to have a nice car.
I think you hate
the Corvette.
vehicles.
No, I don't.
You
The
hate-
Corvette off of A-Team. Remember the show A-Team? Face had that white Corvette.
Yeah. I
like
want the
that one.
van.
The A-Team van.
I've been thinking about painting my van with stripes and getting that little fin on the back. Like, seriously.
You'd be like B.A. Baracus of us. I think I'd be like Hannibal, just leading the way.
Yeah. Crispy.
You wouldn't be on the show.
He's the producer.
A-Team. You did watch A-Team, didn't you?
I loved A-Team.
Love
Of course you did.
And Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh, no. And the best character on it was the Mad Dog. What's his name?
Yeah, the crazy guy.
Hannah?
Howlin' Mad Murdoch.
Yeah. He was great.
Anyway.
You forgot the number one guy, the guy that made the show so
Well,
famous.
B.A. Baracus.
No, Mr. T.
Yeah, it's Mr. T. That's
I
no idea.
I have no idea. I was watching the Waltons. I have no idea.
Waltons, John Boy. And
Yeah, that was a good show. That was a wholesome show.
The
Actually, it was
18
before the 18.
inspired me to get into welding and to start fabricating things. And when they started filming in Kamloops, the 18
Oh, yeah.
movie, I begged the guys on set just to let me come on there and just weld two pieces of metal together.
Yeah.
It never happened, but I was like,
It was just like formulaic. Like something bad would happen, and the A-Team would have to go and like weld things together, and then they'd go back and attack the bad guys and win.
they went into a barn one day and made a tank out of oil drums.
It's almost
I can remember that. I
it's
remember
almost
that
like,
episode.
It's like MacGyver ripped off their idea and put it more.
MacGyver.
Yeah, MacGyver
Yes.
and
But
MacGyver stuff.
The
yeah.
best theme music of any show of all time. It's A-Team.
No,
that's
no.
good.
Dukes of Hazzard is better because it got
Magnum
Waylon Jennings singing.
I don't know that theme.
Yeah.
Magnum PI.
Oh, okay, yeah, I've heard that one.
All right, well, we're digressing.
Anyway.
80s TV shows. It's great. Waltons. What was the theme song?
Never
for
saw the Waltons.
That was
Da 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 da. That was actually the 70s. It ended in late 1980. It was a great show. A great show. Dukes of Hazzard was a great show too, and that had the best theme song. It's an actual real song, Waylon Jennings song. Good old boys, just a good old boy.
Do you have any kind of news comments or about the show? Anything?
No, just keep checking CamloopsThisWeek.com. Keep checking our Facebook page until it gets cut off. You won't be able to access news pretty soon with Bill C-18. So if you go to our Twitter account and you subscribe to our free newsletter, and there's information about that on our website, on our Facebook page until it goes away, on our Twitter, on our Instagram, you'll see you can subscribe to our newsletter. It's free. You get it every day, and it gives you all the news you need to know.
It's been really damaging to news organizations. I talked to Brandy Shire, Sun Peaks News, hitting her really hard because they rely so much on Facebook.
We got to go back to getting people to go directly to our news through other means, because before the social media giants were here, how do we get our news out to people, right? You got to go back to that because there's still the internet then, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, well, that's been a good show. I'm teaching a course at TRU, Mike.
Of course.
Car maintenance.
Journalism, car maintenance. A journalism course,
class,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Good talk. Anyway, for Christopher Foulds, for all our sponsors too, for Volkswagen, for Gord's Appliance and Mattress Center, for
McDonald's.
And we never bow to our sponsors.
No.
Ever.
we're going to do a commercial soon.
That's so good.
For Christopher Foulds, for Magic Mike, for Bill and Marty, we'll see you last week.
Last.